In fact, I remember some of them issuing that call to prayer, which could have been last weekend. But we say, please continue and mourn with us. Let's pray for God to soften the hearts of the pharaohs. Michi Boko, you mentioned that very well. The pharaohs in government who would rather harm and kill our people instead of letting them go in the spirit of justice and freedom. 6 years after independence. As part of our love and honor for the slain and injured heroes of this struggle, we will hold interdenominational prayers on Friday, the 26th July 2023. That's a day after tomorrow, here in Nairobi, and they should also be replicated in the counties across the country. We will bless the souls of the injured and the dead. We will pray for the pharaohs in government to listen to the cries of our people about the high taxes and the rising cost of living. We will pray for our police to know that the people they brutalize, maim, and kill are indeed their brothers, their sisters, and fellow citizens. What became of the new title, National Police Service? It is now the opposite. It is a terrorizing force. We will continue praying for and pleading with the international community and all its institutions, especially in the community, to call Kenya security agencies to order. Indeed, some of them have called them out, like the International Human Rights Commission in Geneva. Call them out. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. The international community must never lose sight of this fact. And either we are going as Africa to accept that it is the turn of Africa to rise and therefore be serious about the conduct of democracy, or we accept that as the law of the jungle, literally the law of the jungle applies, and making nonsense of any pretense at democracy and democratic governance. On Friday, we shall also announce the next steps forward with our anti-tax protest. Let's make no mistake. Kenyans are still hurting, and we shall not relent until this regime acknowledges this grim reality of suffering and agrees to repeal the infamous Finance Act. We call on Kenyans not to surrender. We must not, and we will not give up. Let us take comfort in the fact that the world has seen worse and more brutal regimes before. No regime can be so brutal as to outlive its people. We shall overcome. Justice shall be done. Not our will, God, but God's will. And this struggle continues, a luta continua. I thank you. In fact, looking at some of the names, a young boy of 13 years old. I mean, what has happened to a sense of morality? The majority of those killed and injured are young people. And yet, we have people in office pretending they want to help our youth get employment, our youth get to be able, because Lovik Ayondi, a minor, 13 years, Kibera Mashimoni, was shot on the right leg, a 13-year-old. We've seen them today. Like we say, my brother Raila was not in a hurry. He wanted to see each one of them. We couldn't, because we also felt that this is an important matter. And I think the world now knows what is happening in our wonderful nation. The choice is, do we allow it to deteriorate, or do we, as Shakespeare said in one of Shakespearean tragedies, Hamlet, or do we take arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing, end them? Of course, Hamlet was trying to commit suicide. We can't afford to commit suicide in our nation. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.